Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for, if you can believe it, the month of September. I hope you are well. Using the Crow Tarot for you today. Do I have any messages? No, not really. But when I did sit with your energy, as I do before I start every reading for each of the signs, it was pretty intense. Really intense. There's a lot of activation up here, so I'm expecting something, suitably Aquarian to come out for you today. Let's have a look. Can I have 3 cards for Aquarius, please? Ooh, you see, this is what I'm talking about. We've got the Moon, the King of Wands, and the 4, beg your pardon, of Wands. I'm going to put those back in because I only want 1 card, and that does seem to be a bit much. But interesting that we've got the Moon, which I feel governs the subconscious, but then we have 2 cards of very active consciousness in the 4 of Wands and the King of Wands there. It feels like there's exploration going on. Let's try this one again. Can I have that one? Yeah, I mean, fine. So we have the Empress. I see it as the card of Taurus, but it can also be the card of Libra. In the major arcana, what about current energy for Aquarius? We have the Knight of Cups. I like that for you, Aquarius. And what's coming towards Aquarius? Thank you. Cards are leaping around for you today. We've got the Page of Pentacles, so we've got a slight change in direction coming up for you. Borne out by the Ace of Wands that we have in the bottom of the deck here, and the Queen of Swords following that, which is good, because that's Libran energy, is very supportive for you. It suggests a high level of discernment with where you are going next. But let's get some clarifiers and we'll see what this is all about. And we have some clarifiers. Please. Yeah, that's you. Okay. Tell me why the Empress is here for Aquarius first. King of Wands again, really wants to make itself known. Right, it's Leo energy, which is your opposite sign on the zodiac, so it's like quite important. Tell me about the Empress, please. Thank you. And we have the Star. This is phenomenal, and as I'm speaking, I'm being nudged to point out that we just had that new moon in Leo, and we're about to have on the, we might have already had it by the time you watch this video, on the 22nd, we've got the 2nd full moon in Aquarius, consecutive. It feels like there's some magic afoot for you. I've got goosebumps again. Okay, tell me about the Knight of Cups, please, for Aquarius. Thank you. We have the 9 of Cups. That's a random card that I just picked up there. So we have the Knight of Cups. 10 of Cups. Aquarius? Really? Tell me about the Page of Pentacles, please. We have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Page of Pentacles. And the 2 of Cups. This is intriguing. We have the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck, and again, I'm absolutely riddled with goosebumps all over. It's deeply uncomfortable. But we've got the 8 of Pentacles sat behind this. Now, there's something really kicking up a notch here for you, Aquarius. That's the only way I can describe what I'm feeling here. And the thing is, I think for most of you, you have a good idea what this is already, because it seems to me like you've set this in motion yourself. This is not, despite the presence of the major arcana cards, this doesn't feel like it's something that's kind of hitting you from nowhere. This feels like something that you've been working with. So in your recent past, we have this Taurus card here of the Empress, and she is abundance. She's fertility too. And maybe that might be a thing for you, but I don't really feel like it is. It feels like a state of mind that you are rocking, or you at least have been rocking recently. Some of you, I feel, have been working very strongly with the Leo new moon, right? There was something that you put in place then. with a view to manifesting it very, very soon. Very soon. Sorry, I've just got so much information coming in here. I'm trying to pick out what is... Well, I'm trying to make sense of it all, actually. It's quite overwhelming. There's a lot going on here. We have this King of Wands underneath, like I said, the Leo card. And seemingly completely related. Now, even if you didn't sit down and you know, I don't know, created a vision board, or you didn't sit down and do some sort of new moon ritual, or you know, write down a list of intentions or whatever, there certainly seems to have been a shift in your energy. And this is interesting because I noticed a shift in Leo's energy as well, right at the beginning of the month. Apart from like the Lion's Gate, where I was literally knocked flat. Couldn't do anything except sit on a sofa and read a book all day. I have to say, actually, it was glorious, but I was trying to get other things done and I just couldn't. But something has shifted, and this axis that you both sit on, basically where one thing happens to one sign, there are repercussions for the other. And I feel like as there's been this shift for Leo, there is also a shift for you, and there's a change in direction coming up. And it feels a lot like you've just been intuitively pushed to do things, and at this point you may not know exactly why, but it's that a lot of it is being done on trust. Yeah. We have the King of Wands here, like I said, Leo, but it's about taking action. It's about the things that you do, like what it is that you are trying to bring about for yourself at the moment, or others, in fact. But this Star card is yours, and it speaks of healing, it speaks of hope, but it also speaks of a connection, and this link between you and Leo is not to be ignored here. And neither is the abundance something particularly material. I don't feel like it has much of a basis in the material, in fact. It's something much bigger than that. Let's pull some more cards, Aquarius, because as always, your reading is really like... let's have a look. Tell me about the King of Wands. Why is that hit? Thank you. Ace of Pentacles. There could be a material aspect to this somewhere. But again, another card of a new start, of a new direction in some way. Ace of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. I could well see this in the creation of a new business, you know, a new direction for a business that you already have, something like that. Tell me about the Star, please. Ace of Pentacles, yeah. I mean, this quite likely is work-related for you, but it's certainly somewhere where you are choosing to put your energy. Now, it could be that this is nothing to do with the business at all, and what this is an energetic shift as to where you are going to put your attention from here on out. It's almost like you understand the nature of true abundance and you want more of that coming in. And so, rather than spreading yourself really thin, what you're doing now is kind of amassing all of your energy and attention and pointing it in one singular direction. Like I said, this feels like a very, very strong manifestation that's coming to the fore for you. Tell me about the Star, please. I've got the Seven of Wands in reverse. I mean, the whole thing does seem to be a narrowing of focus, but an opening up, because we do have this High Priestess with the Eight of Pentacles underneath here. It's like you are being guided intuitively. Like it's almost like you could be being completely overwhelmed with signs and synchronicities at the moment. They're all kind of going, go this way, like this. And you're like, okay, I should do that. Because what we're missing here, what is absolutely absent from the cards that are on the table in front of me, is any swords, Aquarius. Again, you are an air sign, and so, you know, swords is air is your element. We would expect to see lots and lots of swords, and with the exception of the Queen of Swords, who happens to be sat underneath this Ace of Wands here. But But again, a shadow card underneath the reading. The reading itself is just cups and pentacles and wands. It's like you are moving differently. You're interpreting things differently. There certainly seems to have been an opening up of the heart that seems to have occurred for you in some way. Like emotional stuff is extremely important to you right now. But the nature of water is that it is open and it is receptive, and it feels like you, Aquarius, are particularly open and receptive at this time. I mean, it could be that you've just been getting downloads that have been absolutely blowing your socks off at the moment. And I like the fact then that the Queen of Swords is underneath this Ace of Wands, because she's all about sifting through it and trying to make sense of it. You know, you're not at a King of Swords point yet where you are able to make intellectual decisions about these things. In fact, it doesn't seem to be that you're using your intellect or your mind or your rationality at all at this point. And ordinarily, in entirely different world circumstances, I might be, you know, asking you to exercise a little bit of caution here and just make sure you know what you're doing before you proceed. But I feel very strongly and very deeply that this is exactly the right move for you at this time. You know, this whilst your brain can be an incredibly useful tool, it can also be incredibly limiting when you are dealing with emotional stuff and with the collective unconscious. There's almost so much going on here, I don't really know where to start. But this is a conscious choice to respond differently, to move differently. It's like, it's listening to your intuition, it's listening to your emotions, and it's allowing them to drive you forwards. Rather than feeling the need to process and understand in a way that usually you like to what is going on. It's just like you're being pulled in a direction, you're like, right, I'm going in that direction. That's end of it. There's no kind of mental conflict over this at all. When we move into your current energy, we've got the Knight of Cups. Now, this is about the way that you express emotion. It's about the way that your heart is open and allows you to be, you know, moving from that place. It's a very heart-centered energy that you're in at the moment. And we've got the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Cups underneath here. So it's about your emotional well-being, but also that of your collective, whether that is your family, your friends, whether it's the Aquarius collective, or whether it is humanity, because you are the humanitarians of the zodiac, you know. And I remember doing a reading for you, and I don't know if it was at the beginning of this year or perhaps the arse end of last year. I don't know. Time has done something very, very odd this year, and it doesn't seem to have moved in the linear fashion that I'm accustomed to it moving in at all. But what I said was that you were uniquely placed, Aquarius, and absolutely critical to the future of humanity moving forwards, because you have that clear sight. You can look to the horizon and see what is coming. You know, you're technologically adept, which is cool. And we've got a lot of really great technology out in the world at the moment. But the old vanguard that is looking to exercise this technology and perhaps a level of, dare I say it, technocratic control over humanity, what they're missing is this. And quite a lot of last year was about you learning to access this, because Aquarius, you know, occasionally you've been labelled as cold. And that's not strictly true, but this is the, you know, just as we see with the King of Swords, there's kind of an emotional put to one side whilst gauging up the, you know, the validity of the claims that are brought before him here. It's all about the interests of justice and fairness, right? So you bring me facts and I will judge on the facts. But the situation as we find it ourselves at the moment is that the facts mean very little at this point. it's almost like every bit of information that is produced and brought before you is tattered and tainted in some way. And so you're leaning into an element that has not traditionally formed part of your essential toolkit, to try and intuit the way forwards, and try and intuit the truth of any given situation, right? And I feel like the work that you did last year was fundamental to this, where you find yourself right now, because you are in an open-hearted place. You are moving from that open-hearted place, and you see the importance. Now, like what I was just twittering on about there for a second was like there's a lot of technology out in the world. There is a lot of progress, which is excellent for humanity. There's a lot that it can do for it, but it's missing the emotional component of it, right? It is the cold steel of technological advancement without the humanitarian side attached to it. And I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it was absolutely critical for you over the course of last year, and certainly getting you to where you are now, to find a way to navigate modern society, have a look at the horizon and see where we're going, and then bring in what is important, what is essentially human about all of us, right? And have that front and center in your thinking, for the want of a better word, except that this is not a thinking situation. This is a highly intuitive perspective that is absolutely full of feminine wisdom. And I'm pretty sure Aquarius is masculine air, you know, so this does indicate quite a considerable change in position for you. Understanding the importance of your own emotion and emotional state in everything that you do, but also how that feeds into the whole, whichever whole that is, you know, and how it's important for, you know, the Ten of Cups to be comprised of a set of individuals who are also sat in the Nine of Cups situation individually, you know. Got the Wheel of Fortune here. What do we have here? Six of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. Yeah, I mean, wow. It's almost like balancing and tempering your logic and cold hard reason with a kind of wisdom that comes from elsewhere, a kind of wisdom that comes from your connection to spirit or source or the universe, or however it is that you interpret this. I mean, for some of you it may just simply be God, you know. But we've got the Three of Pentacles at the bottom, which is teamwork and collaboration, you know, cooperation. It is the act of building something, and I feel what is building in you, Aquarius, is an understanding of how the future need be structured to avoid a position where anybody gets left behind. And to that end, it really does look like you are drawing in inspiration and wisdom from all of the other elements to help you with that. Like, you've got the swords down pat, you get this stuff, but the other elements have things to contribute as well. And there's something really, really powerful about the way that you are engaging with other people at the moment. And I can't shake this feeling that you're feeling, is that the wheel is turning, and it's turning really, really strongly. And there's a sense of your own importance here in the machinations as they are progressing. And you are absolutely right. I did a reading for one of the other signs. I can't remember if it was last month or the month before. I said, you know, we often view ourselves as individual drops of water you know, falling into a vast ocean, and there's sometimes a helplessness and a powerlessness that is associated with that, because we're just like, we're just one drop. What can we do alone? You know, nothing. But in fact, what that drop is the entire ocean in one drop. And this feels like an understanding of that you are feeling now. Some of you might well be exploring some spiritual modalities to try and make sense of what it is that you're feeling at the moment. You may be working with Reiki, you may be... Some of you are definitely messing about with astral projection. And doing it quite well by the look of it. Because there's something here about a return to source that is going on for you, Aquarius. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. So when we come to September, what we've got is this change in direction that I was talking about. You know, we've had now 3 aces on the table for you. The only one that is missing is the Ace of Swords, and that's the one that you don't need, because that's the one that you just wield on a daily basis anyway. We've got the Pentacles, we've got the Cups, and we have the Ace of Wands here. This is talking about a fairly major change in direction that you are choosing to undertake. Oh, I hate tiny dogs. Downstairs, Silas is probably weeping with fear. He can't stand tiny dogs. They're really aggressive and they're always really nasty to him when he sees them. So it's like, he's absolutely shit scared of little yappy dogs. Anyway, aces are pure potential. Great. So what this is saying is that the energies are absolutely aligned at this point for you to be able to dip into them and take from them what you need, right? And there's such a strong magician energy about this entire reading for you. I can't even tell you. Even though it's not here, I could feel the magician kind of hovering over the top of all of it. And you have the High Priestess, and personally, I think the High Priestess and the Magician are the power couple of the tarot. Like, probably other tarot readers would not agree with me on that one. They would say it's the Emperor and the Empress, but no, it's the Magician and the High Priestess, simply because they are not a quintessential couple. Do you know what I mean? They come together to do something, and then they go off and they do their own individual thing, where I don't get that same impression so much from the Empress, right? But the energy is supporting what you are trying to do, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest at this point. And the Page of Pentacles for September signifies that step now into actually making, material that which you have at this point just intended. And we see it ramping up pretty fast, because the first clarifier out of the deck is the Knight of Pentacles. We have got progression there. We start with an initial kind of, the page is the lowest echelon of the court hierarchy, right? So it's the starting place, but it's about something newly discovered. And for you, it could well be more the discovery of a new talent that has sat innate within you that you did not know that you had, right? Something that you kind of have been intuitively drawn to and think, I might just give this a go because I'm kind of feeling pulled to do it. And then you start doing it and you realize actually that you're incredibly good at it just from the off. I mean, how many incredible musicians are there out in the world who have never actually got to be musicians because they never got given an instrument? Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of feeling to it. It could be that there are physical steps that you are taking, material steps in bringing something together, but actually it really does feel like the discovery of something new that you can do. And whether it's a hobby or not, it feels like it's becoming very, very important to you in September, such so that it's not just something that you're kind of messing around with. At this point, it is like, no, I need to really, really commit myself to this. As Knight of Pentacles is very committed energy. You know, there are no shortcuts here. There is diligence and dedication, and it is somewhat slow, which is interesting because that's entirely, you know, at the other end of the scale to the knight that represents your element, which is the Knight of Swords, which frankly is usually moving at a breakneck speed. But again, I'm kind of pulling it down to the fact that there are no swords here, not on the table, not at all. You are moving with different elements, different centers of the body. And there's a process of learning going on here. Now, I do feel like you're picking it up very, very quickly, but because it's utilizing these different energies, it's something that you've got to just potter on with. You know, it requires focus, it requires concentration, and it requires commitment. And the other card that we have is the Two of Cups. And I do feel like this is one of those synchronicities that are just kind of coming in, like you meeting somebody this month in September who either is already engaged in that which you would like to know more about, that which you are trying to do for yourself, or just puts you in the right direction for something, right? Just a surprise interaction. Maybe just puts a light on in your head. It could be something like that. Well, I'm going to pull another clarifier for it. Tell me about the Two of Cups, please. Right, so here for Aquarius. Thank you. We have the Queen of Cups. We have the Three of Pentacles again. I have to just say, the cards that have fallen down here on the floor are Temperance and the Fool. This is divine orchestration. You know, there's nothing random about this event at all for you. Right? You are supposed to meet this person this month. And more than that, you are supposed to work with this person because, again, here we have the Three of Pentacles again, and it's pointing directly at that. Now, it may be a Cancer. That's possible. But actually, the Queen of Cups is water of water. She is the most receptive court card in the tarot altogether. This feels like somebody who is more adept at what it is that you are trying to do, and possibly naturally this is possibly something that they've been doing for quite a long time. But it's interesting that I'm using the word adept, and if we take the other meaning of adept, it's interesting that it's here with the Page of Pentacles. It feels like somebody taking you under their wing. It feels like somebody spotting this innate talent in you and going, I can do something with this. I can help you move this along a little bit. And again, none of it brain-centered. There is learning here, for sure. But there's a huge energetic and emotional aspect to what is going on here. Now, not all of you are just going to, bump into a Reiki master and decide you're going to do Reiki or something like that. But there's a significant shift away from where you thought you might be in September a couple of months ago to suddenly what seems to be ramping up over the course of, well, certainly over the course of August, but then as you move into September. And again, I really do feel like it has, whatever you were doing or thinking or wishing for around about the time of the Leo full moon, new moon, feels directly related to that. And it's almost like you put out a beacon and the universe is just like, oh, Aquarius down there, they're ready. They're ready for this person to come in now. And the funny thing is, although a lot of what is going on here is actually quite subtle, and we're not talking about like big tower situations or stuff like that, there is a huge energetic undertow going on here. It keeps like kind of pulling my torso sideways. I can feel it. You're being swept into something that feels relatively coincidental, and it is not at all. It really isn't. and very spiritual in nature. Right, Aquarius, as usual, I'm like, but I'm going to go over to Vimeo now. So if you would like to come and join me over there and we will look more deeply into September, then please do feel free. That's the first link in the description box. The second link in the description is the 6-month overview for each of the sites. But if not, no problem at all. I will see you next time. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.